Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 150 of the Revive Yourself podcast. Here we go.
Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Have you got a health issue that just won't go away no matter what you try? Then welcome to the Revive Yourself podcast, where we reveal the secrets to long-lasting health by getting to the root cause of problems that no one else is talking about. So you can have more energy, clear skin, healthier hair, a leaner physique, more confidence, and most importantly, do the things you love and live the life you deserve. Here's your host, Ryan Martin.
Guys and girls, welcome back to the show, episode 150 not out. Gonna raise a bat, as we do in England in cricket. So I hope you're all well. I know that the world's in a little bit of uncertainty right now, and I've actually been putting out some good videos that have got a lot of support, a lot of messages back saying they've really helped people. So if you haven't listened to them, you can head on over to www.reviveyourself.co or my Facebook page, Ryan Martin, or the Revive Yourself page. I've been going into it. But essentially, life is uncertainty. And when you try to resist that uncertainty or make things the way you think they should be, then not only are things not the way you want them, but you also put your body into a state of resistance, which is a state of dis-ease. And that can cause a lot of health issues because your body's in a constant state of fight, flight, freeze, not wanting it to be where it's not where you want it to be. Things aren't how you want it to be. And so that causes issues in itself. That can lower your immune system, really stress you out, and it can cause all sorts of problems, as well as mental, emotional stress, as well as the physical impact it has on your body. So as you go through this period of time, the best thing to do, obviously you can have dreams and aspirations and things that you want to achieve and obviously get through, and I hope everyone's safe and healthy, and I'll be going through a few things that you can do in terms of what we've got in the shop, but try and go with the flow and not resist it. It is what it is. If you're listening in America and Canada right now, or Spain or Italy, I know that you guys are on lockdown and you're at home, and so even when you're at home, try and get out, try and get out, or at least get your face or some part of your body in the sun if you can. If you can't, try and at least get by a window, have some fresh air, exercise indoors, things you can do, squats, lunges, burpees, push-ups, have high quality of food as possible. Don't overly stress about things, but if you can have a high quality of food, if you've got good supplements, take them, and we'll go through that in a minute. Listen to positive music, films that you enjoy, things that increase your mood. Try to stay away from the doom and gloom, and especially if you're on Facebook, try and follow people that are going to make you feel better once you've left Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, rather than things that are going to stress you out and make you, put you into a state of stress that's going to ruin your mood and lead to levels of anxiety and depression, etc. Because that's not going to do you any favours. Situation is what it is. We can't affect it. We're going to do what we all can collectively to get through this together. And there's things you can do individually. Putting good positive thoughts out into the world. And that when it comes to this virus, quote unquote, I'm not sure. I've done a lot of research with a lot of people who do not believe in viral airborne pathogens. They think that the virus theory is actually a myth. There's some really good research out there, and actually one of my guys, Dr. Terry Tillard, has put a very good video out with 5 other experts talking about this. Whether it is or if it isn't, whether it's 5G or whatever it is, there's something going on. But everyone that's been getting these illnesses seems to either have had the flu jab or to have already been immunocompromised. Some people are talking about that as a 34-year-old guy who unfortunately, male who unfortunately died from this. They're saying, oh, he's young, but he had just recently got over testicular cancer. He had asthma and other issues. He had lots going on. So all we can do is remain positive, affect the things that we can affect. Good food, movement, hot and cold showers are a great thing. And I'm actually going to be putting together my immune system overhaul program, 21-day immune system overhaul program. So it's going to be, I had the 21-day Revive Health Reset. This is going to be added and upgraded for the immune system overhaul, which I'm going to be getting out to you this very week. So you get 21 days of 21 days of mental and emotional tasks, immune strengthening tasks that we can be doing. We're going through a daily things to clear your mind, reduce stress and tension, and we'll be going through nutrition, supplementation, as well as breath work, qigong, tai chi. You're going to have a whole host of things in there, everything geared towards taking away, removing your body or removing toxins out of your body and debris, strengthening your immune system, making it nice and robust, clearing any mental and emotional trauma or turmoil that's going on, and just really giving your body the best environment to thrive in this situation. So, as we talk about before, I've mentioned many times before, germ theory. This is another one. Everyone's going around washing their hands all day long, where the germ theory was debunked years ago. It came from a guy called Louis Pasteur, who talked about the germ, and it led to like antibacterial wipes, etc. And everyone's going mad washing their hands like crazy. But on his deathbed, Louis Pasteur said, I was wrong. The germ is nothing. The terrain is everything. And this is why it's really important to have a strong inner ecosystem, and to have a robust immune system, because it doesn't matter what viruses or parasites or pathogens or bacteria come your way. If your immune system is strong and you have a strong internal environment, then you will not get ill. A virus or pathogen or bacteria or whatever it is, they cannot take over a healthy vessel. So this 21-day health reset that I've now pushed into the 21-day immune system overhaul can have added extras and upgrades, so we can really concentrate on cleaning your body physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, spiritually, and looking at nutrition, supplementation, as well as other protocols that are all going to strengthen your immune system. So that'll be out very soon. I'm going to put a post out on Facebook, Instagram, etc. If you're not following me, by the way, on Facebook, I am Ryan Martin. You'll find me to my picture of me on the chronic health, the chronic fatigue solution book. There's a picture. You'll find me at Revive Yourself as well. Facebook.com, Revive Yourself. And I'm on Instagram at Ryan__Martin and at Revive_Yourself. And you'll find me. My symbols are pretty constant throughout my pictures, so you'll be able to find me. But that'll be coming out very, very soon. Now, having said that, in our shop, Revive Yourself shop, lots of different supplements that we got, hugely immune strengthening. People talk about you can't boost your immune system. Well, go and tell Wim Hof that, who was injected with E. coli, and by managing to physically affect his immune system, he was able to ward off E. coli. And I think they did this test on 3,000 people, and every single one of them got ill, apart from Wim Hof and the 12 people that he trained in being able to do immune boosting properties and breath work, etc., and controlling the immune system. So you can. So things that we've got in our shop, like Living Fuel from it's in the Evolution Organic shop. Living Fuel, Super Berry, Super Greens, very, very powerful. In fact, all the things that we've got in our shop are all going to help your body to get rid of debris and strengthen them. In particular, I go through Living Fuel. I go through any of the mushrooms from Four Sigmatic, liver cleansing supplements like milk thistle or liver support from Nature's Answer. probiotics from Dr. McCullough. We've also got vitamin C in the H impurity section, vitamin C and vitamin D3K2, liposomal versions of that, very, very powerful. I think we've got MSM yet. It's going to be in the shop very, very shortly. MSM, that'll be there. Pearl powder, the royal jelly from Ancient Purity as well. It's absolutely fantastic. It's what Bruce Lee used to put in his tea, along with raw honey, which is another immune booster. And all these things, we talk about immune system booster. They're just able to clean debris, not feed unfriendly pathogens and bacteria. They're not going to weaken the immune system or cause inflammation. So everything we've got in our shop, Finchley Clinic as well, we've got our gut revival bundle. It's very, very important that you keep on track with keeping your gut health nice and strong. As I mentioned, we've still got our gold programs, our 16-week total health revivals and our 16-week total gut revival programs going ahead. If you are dealing with a chronic issue and you need longer than 21 days, then please send me an email at ryan@reviveyourself.co or send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll have a chat about what would work best for you. Because if you are dealing with a chronic issue and you already are immunocompromised and you've been taking things like toxic medication, etc., then yes, you're going to need longer than 21 days, because we're going to need to implement certain things to clear your body to really reduce the effect that those things are having negatively on your body, to change your internal terrain, etc. So we'll still be using our gold standard programs, our 16-week programs. It's why we get the results that we do, because some people will be asking me for a lot of help and one-off consultations, and I don't do them because I just don't think they work. Having an hour with a coach and then going about your life, you have lots of questions afterwards. So with our 16-week program, not only do we look at them physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, and we go into nutrition, supplementation, and you also get put through a whole program where you learn a lot. Got lots of different seminars, lectures, podcasts which you listen to, as well as getting 24/7 support from me, unlimited support from me. That's why we get the results we do, because it's not just about healing you, it's about teaching you how to get and stay and maintain that health to move forward. And it's the same with our 21-day immune system overhaul that's going to be coming out. You're going to learn a lot. So if you haven't got a chronic issue and you're just looking to boost your immune system because maybe you get run down and you're ill quite a lot, or you're just going through this and you're worried about contracting the coronavirus, then this is going to be powerful for you, because it's going to walk you through all the things you need to do. It's no good having an hour with someone and then going about and going, oh, I've got this question, this is going to answer all your questions. That's what our programs do. They go deeper than what, in my opinion, and what I've seen from people who come to me, they go deeper than a lot of other programs, because they give you that self of account. One, you get accountability and support from myself, and two, what they do is they give you ownership, so you can actually take things moving forward. So got lots going on. And look, we've got our there's another thing I said to people: everything that's going to be lowering your immune system, poor water quality is going to be lowering your immune system. So we have got our water filtration systems from Aquitaire, whole house water filtration systems that take away 99.9% of all the nasties and toxins in your water. Whether you've got a 1, 2, 3 or 4 bedroom house, it's going to be very, very powerful for you. Hard or soft water. If you're looking to get one of them installed in your house, let me know. Send me an email at ryan@reviveyourself.co and we can have a chat. And we've got our anyone, because people will be looking at a lot of screens throughout this, I recommend you getting some blocking glasses from blueblocks.com, BLUBLOX.com. You go there, you've got the nighttime ones, the red lenses, and also a daytime one, which takes out the artificial blue light, because that really does impact you. And if you're staying at home, you're going to be watching probably TV, be on the computer. Very, very important. As well as the essential oils from Dr. Nick Berry, essentialoilwizardry.com. That's www.essentialoilwizardry.com for all the best essential oils. Things like oil of oregano, very, very powerful in fighting off viruses and pathogens. But as well, it's got a whole host of other fantastic essential oils, best in the world, in my opinion. And if you go to blueblocks.com or essentialoilwizardry.com, please put in the code REVIVE in small letters, and you're going to get 10% off any purchase. I want you to get that I need to have that because it's very important for me that you guys get the best possible deal when we go through this, but also keeping yourself nice and healthy. And I'm also going to be moving into something called healthy homes. I think it's very, very important. I've got one of my guys, he's an architect, fantastic. And when things come to fruition a bit more, I'll be going, we'll be speaking more on it, but I'll be putting together a project where we'll be going into homes and making them very, very healthy for anyone who's interested in that, in terms of what water filtration system will be best for your house, in terms of putting things in like infrared saunas, best gym equipment, in terms of pots and pans, what hobs best for you, going into electronic magnetic frequencies, and how to like bulletproof your home from them, so shield your home from all the powerful electronic magnetic frequencies. We're going through a hell of a lot when it comes to that, so that's something that's coming up in the future. But for right now, if you are struggling with your health and you're looking to overcome a chronic issue, then give me a shout, Ryan at reviveyourself.com, and we can have a chat about which one of our programs is better for you. If it's a longer version, a 16-week program, because you've been dealing with a chronic issue for a while, anything over 3 months, then you probably need that. But if you're looking to boost your immunity and you want to get on our immune system overhaul, then give me a shout as well. Send me an email and we can go from there. And that's going to be a fantastic program to get you through what's going on and clear your mind, boost your immune system, and give the body exactly what it needs, mentally, emotionally, physically and spiritually. Anyway, that's it for that. Well, on to today's show. We've got a guest, Dr. Barrie Tan, from the US, and we'll be talking all about vitamin E, how powerful it is for the body, all the different ways that it can actually help increase longevity, bone health, studies on cancer. So it's going to be great, and at the end we're going to be talking a little bit about viruses, etc., and what you can do to overcome that. So without further ado, here's the episode with Dr. Barrie Tan. Enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side.
Absolutely perfect.
I'm glad that we got connected. I thought something was amiss earlier. I guess Kim said it was a timing. That's okay.
It was a little time. Sorry, I think we just got the time zone slightly off. My apologies for that. But
no problem. Where are you located? Where am I calling you from?
So I'm just outside of London in a place called Epping. So I'm in County of Essex, just outside London in Epping. So I'm about 40 minutes from the city.
I see.
Yourself?
Wow, I am 2 hours inland from Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, you're okay. Okay, you're East Coast.
Yeah, on the East Coast, that's correct. And of course, right now I guess we all are bracing for this coronavirus. And before you call, I was in the middle of looking at other potential candidate that may, at least in scientific research, may bode well with the antiviral activity. So if time allow in your mix, because it's so current towards the end, not at the beginning, towards the end, then I could address a few things that may be potentially useful. I'm still on a read mode on that. So it looked like on the antiviral properties of some existing nutritional supplements.
Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, I put out a few things myself recently. I'm always happy for you to expand on that as well, because I know that people in time. I mean, over here it's just how is things over there? Is it are you on lockdown at the moment? Are you not allowed out?
Yeah, we just got into the lockdown mode because in the Boston area, things just got proliferated. And so the state governor had the schools locked down in the sense that school and government buildings have to stop work. And then, so school in terms of elementary to high school, and then colleges. So when colleges are locked down, that's pretty serious because that's like 30 to 40,000 students. Mm-hmm. And then now they say that people's not quite to the stage that people 65 years old have to stay at home. Not quite just that. They've done that in California, but not us yet. And then to visit public area infrequently and only as needed, something like that. So okay. I'm not sure how Is that same in England?
Not yet. No. There's a few rumours going around saying that there could be a bit of a lockdown coming on Friday, but no one really knows yet. It's all hearsay and rumour based. But I mean, they have done it in Spain and Italy. So I think, I mean, I think that a few of them are almost like they have got the military involved. But yeah, I didn't know if it'd be far off. Getting the military involved with certain people. But at the moment, you're still allowed out. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So I guess we are in that mode. But I'm glad that Kim got connected with you, so we can do this. And
yeah,
how about I just follow your lead? How things go? I'll have done this many times, and as you ask question, I'll just answer as I go along. And now, how do you do it? Is this pre-recorded and then you edit it and then you put it out sometime later? Is that?
Yeah. So this will probably go out. I've got a couple of episodes. Actually, this might go out Monday. So we're actually recording right now. I like doing it. I like to have a little intro, but we can always cut it out if you don't want it in. But
No,
it's always good.
Problem at all.
It's always good. So yeah, no worries. I mean, it's interesting because out of a lot of, I mean, you've got the book out, The Truth About Vitamin E: The Secret to Thriving, with annatto tocotrienols. Am I saying that right? Am I saying that
I know
right?
That's a mouthful of a word. It's pronounced tocotrienol.
Tocotrienols.
And sometimes people said that you can affectionately shorten it and just say tocos.
Tocos. Okay.
Yeah.
I would do that. So it's interesting because we hear, especially in the health world, a lot about vitamin C and vitamin D and then obviously like fat soluble vitamins and things like that. But vitamin E doesn't get talked about as much as others. So it'd be really interesting for us to take a dive into it. And so what was it that piqued your interest about tocos, I should say, tocotrienols. I said that right, yeah. What was it that piqued your interest? Why did you go down that route rather than any other vitamins?
Thank you for the question. Yeah, it's a mouthful of a word. It's called tocotrienol. We'll just refer to it tocos. Will be just fine. And it's certainly not something that is a flash in the pan overnight, anything like that. I started my career at the University of Massachusetts in 1982, and a year later, so that's a lot more than 30 years ago, I was given a grant at the time with palm oil. Palm oil is now used. Most in the West understand palm oil is saturated fat, a little less is good, and then we probably read political stuff about slash and burn in Malaysia and Indonesia, that kind of thing. But I was just focusing on the research of palm oil, and 30, 40 years ago, very little is known about that. At the time, the rage of the vegetable oil would have been olive oil, something like that. And then the common oil then would be soy oil, and people were not into canola oil. So that was the context. And then palm oil came into being. So I got a grant from the Malaysian government to do palm oil study. And the palm oil looked like carrot color, very intense. And people are not going to take the color, eat the oil because of the color. So I asked a colleague of mine, he said that they just bleached the color off. And it took me by surprise because the color is a good stuff. So I said, well, why don't you get the grant from Malaysian government? I did. And so what I did at the University of Massachusetts, I was a young assistant professor at the time. So I removed all the fat that would be the triglyceride, the vegetable oil. Then I remove all the color, that would be the carotene, just to see if I can analyze the color. I removed the color. That was my grant to study the color. However, in the bottom of the pot, after I removed the 99%, which is the fat, and about 0.5%, which is the color, I always have about 0.1 to 0.3% of the something left behind. So I was curious what it was, and it seemed to have strong antioxidant property. And then I reported it to the Malaysian government. Oh, this is just vitamin E. So I analyzed it. Then I said, wow, I did see vitamin E. Then only account to 1/4 of it. 3/4 of it is something else. I don't know what it is, And then, so that started my program in doing research. The 3/4 of it was actually the lesser known vitamin E, not the common alpha-tocopherol, which is vitamin E, but the lesser known tocotrienol, we're going to call tocos, that are the other half of the almost unknown vitamin E. And that was about 35 or more years ago. That was it. That was how it peaked. It wasn't really an interest of love at first sight. It was an aside. I was actually studying the color in palm oil, but I was fascinated by this vitamin E, and it is a lesser known vitamin E. So I persisted. And the years that follow, I look at many plant sources, vegetable oil. Usually vitamin E occurs in nature, in plants that carry oil. In other words, in peanut oil, corn oil, avocado oil, olive oil, all vegetable oil. And the plant makes it. So keep in context. Plants never make things for people. No. We talk like we are vegetarian, we eat this and that healthy thing. Plant doesn't care about people. They're trying to survive. So they make plants for things that are good for them. And when they make vegetable oil are inherently unstable. So they have to make some kind of thing that protect the stability of the oil. That's it. That's why learn from them. We put in small amount of vitamin E in butter, for example. We put vitamin E in fish oil, for example, which is a triglyceride. That is a thing made by men, by food scientists to figure out how to keep something fresh when they could easily get oxidized. But they learned this from the plant, and the plant makes this. So I was curious at my University of Massachusetts days. Wow, why do plants make tocotrienol when tocopherol could be an antioxidant? But it was a curious question, probably academic at the time, and nobody in the world would care. That was it. And then as I was going to that, there came a professor at University of Wisconsin in the middle of the United States, and this professor was extracting something from barley. And barley is not really a Western crop. We extract things from barley for hops and then add into beer. That's about it. Asian drink barley water, stuff like that, but not in the West. We use it for beer making like this. So it's really not a common crop. But somehow he was interested to extract things from barley, and he put it into hypercholesterolemic pigs. This was also in the early 1980s. And then he found out that the cholesterol dropped like mad. So, but he didn't know. Then he looked what was the compound of interest that make the cholesterol drop. This is right at the very onset of the statin drugs, the very first generation for cholesterol lowering. So he found this to be a tocotrienol molecule. So that scurry up the interest of studying a new class of vitamin E called tocotrienol, not the common tocopherol. And that was 35 years ago. So to this day, I've given my life to study this. I'm trying to explain now all the way down to the public. The vitamin E have two sets of compounds, 4 tocopherols and 4 tocotrienol. They are all with the Greek letter alpha, beta, delta, gamma, tocopherols, alpha, beta, delta, gamma, tocotrienol. That's it. So then I look all over the world to find out the sources of tocotrienol. So I have the good news and the bad news. The bad news first, that you find tocotrienols in our common things that we eat. For example, and it's not terribly common, but common enough, like avocado, pistachio, macadamia nut. Okay. So they are a little fancier food. You won't find them in spinach. No. Or tomato, because they're not a lot of oil in them. And then if you cook a carrot to the max, then you have a little bit of carrot oil. Then in the carrot oil, you may find a little bit of this or that, but mostly tocopherol. When you find it's mostly tocopherol. However, probably I would say in the Western diet, on the common thing that we eat, probably in olive oil and in corn oil, we find about 1 to 2% of tocotrienol, and then about 90-something% tocopherol. So that's the closest you can get. And because we feed animal corn meal, then we can get a little bit on the animal fat because they eat it from the corn. However, in terms of systemic diet, you'll find them in people that use palm oil for cooking. There will be many Southeast Asian. Or in South America, people use the seed annatto for coloring. In the West, in England, for example, you see the yellowish coloring of cheese, meat, you use annatto color. So that's the word when you come across annatto. Otherwise, if you go to South America, they use annatto for their cooking, tortilla, very ethnic type food, or sausages. The sausages tend to be much more redder than our Western sausages.
Yeah.
They use the coloring from annatto. So that would be where these are the two most common sources that you can find. Three that have the most. The maximum is from annatto, then from palm oil, and the third will be from rice bran oil. If you eat brown rice, you get it. If you eat a polished white rice, you would not get the tocotrienol. So those are the three places.
So natto in terms of fermented soy, correct?
Not the ferment. Thank you for bringing that up. The fermented soy is the a Japanese word called natto, which is Natto.
Yeah,
I know it sounds. This one is annatto.
Oh,
Annatto. It just have this second and third syllable the same, but it's not from a fermented soybean.
Okay.
It's from a plant. I wish I have a picture. I can show you the picture.
That's right.
Maybe I can have Kim send you the picture.
Yeah.
You will find the word annatto on the back of your cheese that you buy.
Okay.
The yellowish orange color is colored by annatto. So it's a South American. It was discovered by during the Spanish conquest in the 1500s when he traveled. His name is Francesco de Orellana, and the scientific name for this plant is named after him. So if you type Bixa orellana, Bixa, and then a different word, orellana, Orellana, that is the scientific name for this plant, annatto. And the British, interestingly enough, about 200 years after Francesco de Orellana, the British also have sent an expedition to South America, and they also say that they discovered this plant, and they nickname it the lipstick plant. So if you go to a British botanical garden in a greenhouse, if you type the lipstick plant, so the lipstick plant is the annatto, is the Bixa orellana.
Cool. I was going to say I haven't really heard of annatto really. Palm oil, yes. Corn oil, yes. Cornstarch, but annatto is not something that I've readily heard of, especially over here. I don't know. Do you guys use it? You said not much in the West. It's mainly in the East and mainly in South America. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it is. And you would get it in England if you chance to go into Hispanic. I don't know if you use the same word there in England. Hispanic meaning people who speak Spanish that are South America. South America. And I'm sure people from Spain does the same.
Yeah.
So if you go to a Hispanic store, grocery store, and you ask for annatto, they have a Spanish word for this. It's called achoite, Achuite. And if you ask them, you can buy a bottle of the seed. It's probably a pound or two at most, and you can smell it. You can see the seed look very reddish, and it's about the size and shape of a grape seed. That's it, except that it's reddish color.
So it is useful. It's found, you said, also in things more like avocado and other nuts as well, but a pistachio, which is, people now, especially in people interested in their health, they will have things like fatty nuts and avocados. Maybe not not like, maybe not to the extent that they would have certain oils, but avocado oil is something that people are using more now. It has got quite a distinct taste, quite a distinct flavour. It's a bit different. But okay, so when you discovered this, I mean, the colour seems to be quite important, quite important part of this. I mean, you said you tried to extract the colour before when you were doing it, when you discovered it. Would you, just out of curiosity, would you say that there was? I mean, it always seems like people are always trying to extract certain molecules and certain things away. Would a lot of the goodness be found in that colouring? Would that be something that I mean, is it antioxidant rich? I mean, what is in that colour that would be beneficial to us?
That is very intuitive, Ryan, that you picked that up. I wasn't going to go that direction, but yes, the colour in nature is from a class of compound called carotenoid, where we have beta carotene in carrots, lycopene in tomato, astaxanthin, all these wonderful things. There are about 700 carotenoids in nature. Not all of them have a stardom type thing. The few that have stardom, lutein, zeaxanthin for the eye, beta carotene and lycopene for the lung, and astaxanthin, super antioxidant like that. But then that is only a rare few of half a dozen of 700 of them. Plant make all of these things. The unusual feature about carotenoids are this. They are hydrocarbon mostly, just like the gas you put in your tank, hydrocarbon. But it is a very ancient molecule. Hydrocarbon just simply mean that it contains hydrogen and carbon. That's it. And these are very ancient molecules. Most sophisticated molecules are not hydrocarbon. They probably came from shale oil that is pressed. Animals have been fossilized, and then they squeeze all the oxygen out, and then they become hydrocarbon. When the oxygen is out, I'm giving you a simplistic understanding.
That's right.
So when they become hydrocarbon, however, nature still make them. For example, beta carotene and lycopene, the two famous ones, they are pure hydrocarbon. They are really pure hydrocarbon. All that to say, if you are pure hydrocarbon, it's very easy to burn. Just the same thing they stick it into your car. It's very easy to burn, which another way to say it would be, they would be very, very easily oxidized. Oxygen will come onto it. So when a plant make this kind of hydrocarbon, as in carotenoid, they have to figure out a way to protect the carotene from degradation. And plant makes the unique vitamin E, oftentimes tocopherol, and very specific specialized cases, they use tocotrienol to prevent this from oxidation. Hence, I didn't know this when I started this, right? Hence, I found where I saw the beta carotene from the very orangey palm oil, I saw tocotrienol. When I saw the annatto, which has the strong color for coloring your cheeses, annatto, I saw the tocotrienol. So that's it. So your connection there is right. But it's not always the same. For example, I did not find tocotrienol to any extent in tomato. Okay. Even though tomato have like that. But it seemed to me that if there are lots of vegetable oil, if the material is very oily and it has the color, then the chance of having a vitamin E molecule would be great. So now, while I ask this, okay, I'll let you have a question.
Well, no. I have a question because I mean, vitamin E oil. I mean, it's also like something that we use for skin health. You know, it's like people love it for the skin. If people have, I mean, I've got like a certain blend that I make myself, which includes vitamin E oil. I have oxygenated olive oil, and I have a vitamin E oil. I have coconut oil. I've got some other things that I use. And so this is the other thing, because I was going to say to you, and I've got other questions we want to go into in about cellular health and about diseases and things it can help with, but just wondering around the skin for people, because people like it's one. I mean, if you're into natural health and into the health world, you may know this, but it's like if not, then it could be an eye opener. Vitamin E very good for the skin, but also carrot oil is something that can be used, or carrot seed oil can be used to stop the sun. Well, it's in terms of it can be used as a sunblock. Have you ever seen that be beneficial for the skin like that topically, or like in terms of stopping the harmful UVA rays?
Yes, the vitamin E have been used to study on the skin domain, have been used to study many kind of things for the entire spectrum. Let's say on the left spectrum, less serious, and on the right, most serious. On the less serious side, vitamin E have humectant property, which means moisturizing property. So it's a soft use for vitamin E, but it does have that. And then if you move forward a little bit, it protects the skin from oxidative damage. That would be ozone in the air. That would be a UV light, have been tested for that. And they have certain amount of SPF value, sun protecting factor value.
Mm-hmm.
So then if you move a little bit more centric now, increasingly more treatment regimen. So there, what did I say? Moisturizing property, sun protection property, antioxidant as in going after UV light as in ozone. Then you get to a place where it helps to get the vitamin E into the skin and help to replenish your collagen so your skin stays supple. So now it's got that property. And now if you move further to the right a bit, we have studied using tocotrienol that it helped to reduce actinic keratosis, actinic, actinic keratosis, keratosis. So this would be a precancerous condition. People have gone out to the sun a lot, and then so that now the skin have gone to a stage called, pardon me for using this, hyperplasia, meaning that they are not metaplasia. That means that it's cancerous. Hyperplasia meaning the skin is rejuvenated and recycled faster than it should be. Not really a good sounding thing, because if the skin cell grow much faster than normal skin cell, that doesn't bode well like that. But this is hyperplastic, meaning that it grows faster than normal cell. So you can see this like if I do not take care of my head, then my head here will have actinic keratosis, or people that go to sunburn, it will be on the scapula, on the shoulder blade, on their chest, on the back, the place that see the sun a lot because of sun damage. So this is not just sunburn that you would happen. That would be immediate inflammation. This is chronic over many years, and that condition is called actinic keratosis. We did a study in Denmark, and to study people on this, and after 1 month of topical application, it reduces the severity of the actinic keratosis. So now it's over onto this side. And then on the extreme left side, we have studied animal study on animals that have melanoma. Melanoma means already frank skin cancer. And then if you're not taken care of, then it metastasizes. Then you'll be like any other cancer, it becomes deadly. Normally speaking, skin cancer ought not to be deadly, as with most cancer if they're caught early. So we probably have half a dozen or more study on it, and clearly tocotrienol kill cancer. So as we move towards the right, the tocopherol does not function that way. The tocotrienol function that way.
Right.
As is on the left, on the nutritional protection, then the tocopherol and the tocotrienol work the same, which is why you said that you have a vitamin E oil and that would work on moisturizing, sun protection thing, antioxidant thing. Both tocotrienol and tocopherol do the same, except tocotrienol does a little bit better. On the right, on those serious conditions, tocotrienol does that, and tocopherol does not.
So that's great for people out there, because people always looking for, as we age, or to help their skin in different ways. So vitamin E oil is something that it can definitely be used for good skin health, and everything from moisturizing to that. I mean, it's important, especially because people in my research, the sun's a powerful. It's a powerful entity. It can be very healing, can be very fantastic for the immune system in terms of getting rid of viruses, bacteria, but once again, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to get burnt, and so this is very important. It's something you can use. You can add to your health arsenal to help your skin. But so you mentioned before about tocotrienol and
tocopherol.
Sorry, tocotrienol, tocopherol. But they act together. They act together in certain ways. But you find them together a lot. I mean, they're combined, trying to work out, because for example, what would you find in a store? For example, if you went to the store and you bought vitamin E, what would it be? I mean, is there a certain vitamin E or certain supplements, etc., you'd prefer people to buy, or you'd recommend rather than other ones?
That's good. I think from your comments here, there are two issues.
Okay.
If you have a mixture of tocopherol and tocotrienol, what do you do with that?
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to a store to buy vitamin E, what do you get? I'll answer the second one first because it's easier.
Okay.
When people go to a store to look for vitamin E, I would say 90-95% of the time, the vitamin E they can get would be tocopherol, because that has been around for a long time. The one that barely works, the tocopherol, if you just look, and I don't know, in England, they still allow them to put IU, which is International Unit, is not allowed in the US anymore. IU, International Unit, was crafted almost 100 years ago when alpha tocopherol was discovered to be a vitamin. It's not magical. If it's discovered to be a vitamin, it must do something in our body that the lack of it would cause a disease. Like the famous vitamin C, ascorbic acid, in British sailors, they have scurvy.
Yeah.
And then they found out that is because of the lack of ascorbic acid. So they deem ascorbic acid to be a vitamin. And hence, it just go to the alphabetical order, and it happened to be C, and therefore it's vitamin C. And then when you get to the E part, it was a University of California, Berkeley discovery with two pediatricians almost 100 years ago, 1922. They discovered that they extract something and give it to the rat, and the rat is not able to bring the fetus to full term.
Okay.
And when they gave this particular extract to the female rat is able to get to full term with the fetus. So because of this, and then they found a compound to be alpha tocopherol, and because of that, they say alpha tocopherol is deemed to be a vitamin because it's able to bring the fetus to full term. And then the alphabet available at that time was E, and therefore alpha tocopherol became vitamin E. So it's not magical. That's what it is. Now you fast forward 100 years. To the best of my knowledge, and then they gave IU number, International Unit, to quantify that. Ryan, that has become a misnomer. Most people think of vitamin E today. They are not thinking of bringing a baby to full term. If it is, you and I have no reason to take it because we don't have fetuses. The whole thing has become a misnomer. However, today people know vitamin E as an antioxidant. So it's lost in translation. So the use of IU, exemplifying the need to bring a fetus to full term, is considered redundant and useless by the FDA. So we are not allowed to use IU anymore. Instead, we are expected to use, if you put in X milligram of vitamin E, then it should be X milligram of alpha tocopherol or Y milligram of tocotrienol.
Okay.
I cannot speak for England, but in the US, it just changed a year or two ago. So now with that, it actually helped our case in describing the tocotrienol. So now to say, if you go to a store, 90% or more of the time, you pick up a bottle of vitamin E, it would be alpha tocopherol, which largely does not work. So now, if you were to get from tocotrienol, remember I mentioned there are only 3 sources of tocotrienol, from palm, from rice, and from annatto.
Mm-hmm.
Rice and palm contain about 25 to 50% tocopherol. The balance will be tocotrienol. And annatto is the only source that is tocopherol free. So when you say you got 100 milligram, it's 100 milligram tocotrienol. That's it. It doesn't have tocopherol like that. So why do I mention that? It's one thing to say that tocopherol doesn't do anything. Only the potent form would be tocotrienol. There's one thing to say that. But it's another thing to say we have done many studies that tocopherol interferes with the function of tocotrienol. What I am saying here is that the tocotrienol function can be antagonized by tocopherol. That's it. So therefore, if you were to go to a store to buy the vitamin E that is active, you want to buy the tocotrienol that is free of tocopherol. To the best of my knowledge, the tocotrienol that is free of tocopherol can only come from one source, and that is from annatto.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So later, when you get to the place to get a copy of my book, I say that very clear. I disclose all the different study. This is a very exciting day for this lesser-known vitamin E.
Yeah, no, awesome. So with people when they go to annatto, is it available in supplement form, or is it only available as a food? Are there any particular, do you have it yourself? Is there any particular brands that you would recommend people to get, or would it mainly be in food form?
You can get it from food, not a lot. So how about I talk about it from food first?
Go for it.
If you eat a normal Western diet like we do, we'll probably get about 2 to 3 milligram of tocotrienol from food. So that would be the extent you can get. Unless you start to eat ethnic food like annatto, like South America. You can go online on YouTube and find how do you cook with annatto. Then you probably may get about 5 to 7 milligrams, 5 to 8 milligrams, something like this. So 2 to 3 or 5 to 7, however intentional, from the food. Can you get it from supplement? Yes. If you Google or you type annatto tocotrienol, you have to be specific. If you just type tocotrienol, worse if you type vitamin E, because you'll be inundated with tocopherol. If you want to be specific, you put tocotrienol. If you really want to be specific and exclude all the tocopherol, you put annatto tocotrienol. Then you'll be able to, if you go to my website, I list all the different companies that sell them. And if England does not have this on your store, you definitely can buy it on the internet. I get my annatto tocotrienol from a health professional company. They sell on Amazon also. It's called Designs for Health, like your designer's clothes. Designs, plural, Designs for Health. And then they simply call the tocotrienol annatto E. So just annatto E. They have two denominations. One is 150 milligram and the other one is 300 milligram. I will cover those dosages later when we get there. So there will be one company. But if you type annatto tocotrienol, there are many companies.
Guys, the line unfortunately just dropped as we went through that, but we managed to get it back. So here we are back with Dr. Barrie Tan.
No.
No worries.
I'm so sorry about
that. That's right.
Okay, where were we? How do we left it off now? We can continue for where we left off.
So you were just saying about how you get your vitamin E from Designs for Health, annatto E, 150 milligrams or 300, and we're just about to go into we're going to go into that later on. But we were just talking because I know you've got your book out. But there's certain questions I'd like to ask you, just in terms of how tocotrienols, I should say, how they help with the body in terms of protecting and repairing our cells, especially as we age. How do they go about that?
Okay, here I can simplify in this way to the extent that I could. When you think of a human body, it is a collection of cells and differentiated that hold our body together. So in big picture perspective, we have each person has about 38 trillion cells. Now that's a big number. 38 trillion cells, if you bring it down to perspective, is about 5,000 times the population of the Earth. That's still a big number, but at least 5,000 times the population of the Earth, we can handle that, even though it's a big number. Of each of these cells, it has a cell wall, just like a castle in England. It has a moat. The moat holds surround the castle. You cannot have a cell that have no cell wall. Otherwise, the cell would disembowel and the content will come out. So you have to have a cell wall. And it's very basic understanding. So this cell wall is largely fat. Almost some 80-90% of the cell wall is fat. So if a normal person has 40 pounds of fat, for example, I'm trying to get it to very simplistic term now. If about 25% of our body weight is fat, then we'll carry about 40 pounds of fat. Sorry, I'm using the old British system on pounds thing, but you can divide 2.2 and then you get to kilogram, not a big deal. So you got 40 pounds of fat. About 20 pounds of those fat is your love handle. You can actually grab it in your love handle, in your butt, and in fatty tissues like the brain. So those are the 20 pounds of fat. The remaining half of the 40 pounds of fat are all on your cell wall. And you cannot see them because they are all your 38 trillion cells, all the cell wall, because 80% of your cell wall is fat that hold the cell together. Now, now the next statement, now that you got that big picture, the statement is, what is actually protecting the cell wall? Now, in your nutritional understanding and mind, people talk about antioxidant day in and out.
Yeah.
I sometimes have problem with that because the word is used almost trite. Because everybody say their thing is an antioxidant. I got problem with it. As a scientist, as a common lingo, people understand antioxidant good for you, oxidant not good for you. I got that. But because it's used so tritely, it's a problem. So if I can help the audience one step forward, the antioxidant that I care about most is the lipid antioxidant. This is to say that when you have a stick of butter on a hot summer day, you put it outside. Within 2 to 3 hours, you can smell the rancidity of the oil in the stick of butter or your margarine. You can smell it right away. So in other words, when things are exposed to air, the very first thing that go bad is the fat, not the protein, not the DNA, not the nucleus. Of course, any of these things that get oxidized is no good. But when you do this, then you use a generic antioxidant. But I'm trying to help the audience to be educated in this sense. The antioxidant I should primarily care about most is the first thing to go bad. And the first thing to go bad is the fat. I can tell you, if there's a roadkill, the first thing that smell in the foulness of the roadkill would be the fat that get oxidized. That stench that we smell, that is the oxidized fat. Everything else get oxidized if you leave it out long enough. But so that's it. So because of that, now you go back to the cell. All the cell wall is lined with 80% of the fat. And of the 80% of the fat, there's small amount of antioxidant in the fat. Nature does it this way without your help and mine. So about 30, 40 years ago, an Austrian professor decided to harvest all the antioxidant found on the cell wall and the cell membrane of the lipoprotein. And he found that 90% or more of those antioxidants on the cell wall and on the cell membrane are actually vitamin E molecule. The remaining 10% are other antioxidants that you and I heard about, such as lutein, coenzyme Q10, only a handful, and hydrocarbon carotenoids such as beta-carotene and lycopene. That's the remaining 10%, Ryan. More greater than 90% of them are vitamin E molecule. So this tells you and I, without supplementation, to the evolution of time and nature, our body found that vitamin E molecule is best suited to protect the cell wall that have the highest chance and the ease of getting oxidized before anything else. So now we come back to the vitamin E molecule, the tocopherols, and then the tocotrienol. How are they differentiated? I never get to explain that earlier. A tocopherol and tocotrienol, the antioxidant part, look the same. It's got a, think of a tadpole or a sperm. It's got a head and a tail. The head is the antioxidant part that protect the lipid from oxidation. The tail is the one that's sunken into the phospholipid of the cell membrane. So it has an anchor, so to speak, anchor into the phospholipid, the cell membrane. Now, the tail of a tocopherol is saturated. It's just no double bond. It's saturated, so it's longer, anchors deeply, which means that it moves around the cell wall. Think of the cell wall that surround. Think of a cell like a bean or a pea, round, and then it goes around the pea to protect the cell wall. And then let's think of it that the tocopherol will spin around the pea, let's say 10 miles an hour. Just think of it. Just try to imagine 10 miles an hour. And then you think of a tocotrienol. The tail is shorter. It anchors less deeply into the pea. Why is it shorter? Because it's got 3 double bonds and the tail is shorter. Because it anchors less deeply, it spins around in the pea much faster. As a matter of fact, 50 times faster. So if a tocopherol spins around at 10 miles an hour, like you do a bicycle, and then the tocotrienol will spin around 50 times, that would be 500 miles an hour. So you can see. So with that different, what does that mean? It just means that if there's a free radical coming to snatch the phospholipid and make it go bad, the tocotrienol will be able to correct that situation and make that fat whole again 50 times faster. So for that reason, tocotrienol is 50 times more potent than a tocopherol, that both of these compounds are uniquely suited for the cell wall. So I hope I can make that clearer. So
No, it's interesting. And so, yeah, I mean, 50 times is a lot. I mean, and so for people out there, I mean, it's becoming quite apparent that it's a very useful vitamin for people, especially the tocotrienols. I'm saying that right, tocotrienols. Sorry, but specifically, very good. I mean, you mentioned, I've seen that you've recently done some other trials on ovarian cancer as well. I mean, what's been going on there? Have you seen any good results with tocotrienol there?
Yeah, in the ovarian, we mine all the studies from animal study, and hands down that tocotrienol works best in people with chronic condition, particularly cancer. So therefore, we have about 6 to 7 trials in Denmark.
Oh, really? Okay.
And the first of the trial they completed was the ovarian cancer. So remember the context. So when you interpret this, they are stage 4 cancer patient, which means the options are not good because they have gone everywhere. They're stage 4. So the only drugs that they can use is Avastin. This is an anti-angiogenic drug to prevent the growth of the tumor by cutting the blood vessel that feeds the tumor. So they're on Avastin. So one group is on Avastin. The other group is on Avastin and the annatto tocotrienol. That's it. Very plain, very simple. And for those that are just on Avastin, most of them did not live after 6 months or so, because remember, they're stage 4. And those on Avastin and tocotrienol, approximately half of them still survive after 1 year. So the survival is double. And after 2 years, 25% of them are still living. So that's a shorthand answer to how the tocotrienol works. It increased the survival of those that have no additional option. And then now we are waiting for other studies, also clinical trials, also stage 4 and end of life conditions for people with colon cancer, breast cancer, and lung cancer. They're all different studies. So they will come out this year and into the next year. And we are designing new study to do this. So for me,
So you said lung, colon, and what was the other one?
Breast.
Breast. Okay. I mean that's pretty. Lung, especially colon cancer and lung cancer. You know, that's extraordinary. Sorry, I cut you off there. I just wanted to make sure I got that correct.
Yeah, that is. I'm thinking that not often in life you have a nutritional supplement. People do a lot of animal studies and they say that it's good for this and that, like curcumin, cure this and cure that. Many animal studies. It's taken me a lifetime to do this. Remember, I started on Tocotrin 1983. That was a long time ago. Then when we published a lot of animal study, if you go to PubMed, you go to Google search, you put tocotrienol and cancer, you'll be inundated with hundreds of different studies. And almost all of them would be animal study. Those are actually very good things. So we decided that about 7 years ago, we are going to be all in with our chips and decided to study cancer. And now the fruits are yielding. Even if it doesn't work, I at least know that and tell people it didn't work for this, it didn't work for that. Right now, this is the first of the study coming out. So we're very happy. We are studying other drugs. Some of them are trying to reduce the toxicity of cancer drugs. So that's on the cancer regimen. Hopefully you ask me a question about other chronic conditions that are not cancer. We are undertaking to do that as well. But on the cancer, it looks promising and it looks like we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I just actually pulled up a study on cancer prevention research .aacrjournals.org, and it says, does vitamin E prevent or promote cancer? And it says here, basically, in short terms, the several large studies on human trials have failed to show a preventive effect, but that was done with tocopherol, not what you're talking about, tocotrienol or tocotrienol. So it's very important for people to realise the difference in these molecules, correct?
Yes, that's right. And by the way, if you find the AACR paper, please send to Kim. Then I'll read it and then I'll respond to you. But you are right. In general, when we have done animal studies on them, we tend to compare the tocotrienol with the tocopherol, meaning to say we have a group on tocopherol and then we have a group on tocotrienol. And oftentimes the tocopherol simply did not work. And most of the time the tocotrienol did work in killing the cancer, in different ways to kill the cancer. Kill the cancer by stifling the ability of the cancer cell to produce cholesterol. It kills the cancer by turning the signal on and asks the cancer cell to die. And then thirdly, if the cancer survives and become a tumor, it cut off the blood supply to the tumor, so the tumor essentially starves to death. So those are the three things tocotrienol consistently work that way, and tocopherol does not do that. So that's that part.
Yeah, it's awesome. I just wanted to point that out to people because it's important for them to understand the difference, because a lot of these papers you have to read the small print, because vitamin E, as you mentioned, it isn't just vitamin E, it's different and the different molecules you're using, which is great. And as you were about to go on to, you said you've mentioned that it can help other diseases or other illnesses.
Yeah, and that, Ryan, this is where we came from, because we have all these years. So if years is not in my favor, then on the flip side, years is also in my favor. So in the last First, in the last 10, 15 years, we decided to do other chronic condition, particularly chronic condition that have to do with the cardiovascular health. I'm leaving the cancer area. And in the cardiovascular health, it can be complicated because they overlap with each other. On one side, it's a health problem of the heart. And then on the other side, because of diabetes, and people have metabolic syndrome. And then on the third side, when people have diabetes, metabolic syndrome, they also have a silent disease, and it's a problem of the liver. And so we, in the US, I'm sure in England too, we call this NAFLD. NAFLD stands for non-alcohol fatty liver disease. NAFLD. It was only diagnosed in the 1980s when someone went to see the Mayo Clinic doctor, and then they found out that he was never alcohol drinker, but his liver behaved like a person with cirrhosis. That was when they said, what the heck is this? This is a never drinker, and the liver looked like a person with cirrhosis. Then they found out that the cirrhosis is caused by heavy amount of fat intake, so it's dietary. So never would I have guessed in my lifetime people have cirrhotic liver and is never alcohol drinker, and hence the disease called non-alcohol fatty liver disease. It's a clumsy term, but that clumsy term communicates so much and have stayed, and the meaning have meant exactly as the name. So if you go type NAFLD, you'll find it. So, so first we did study on fat in the blood. That means we study cholesterol and triglyceride. They drop, which is good for people to prevent arteriosclerosis, a cardiovascular condition, for thickening of the artery. Then we decided to study, if it does that, they say that half the people that have high cholesterol died of cardiac arrest. The other half of them died of inflammation. So we addressed that the second time around. So when we did that, we found that the inflammation also dropped about 20 to 40%. So we are very encouraged using annatto tocotrienol free of tocopherol. It would reduce the fat such as cholesterol and triglyceride, as well as inflammation such as C-reactive protein. So then I said, okay, now let's graduate to the next level. Oftentimes people that have this cardiovascular disease have fatty liver. So excuse me. So we now have a clinical trial that we confirm people have NAFLD, fatty liver disease. These are people that cross over to people who have diabetes, except that they're fat. In fact, 80% of people who are diabetic have fatty liver disease. But we study fatty liver disease because we can scan their liver and found out that they have fat deposits in the liver. So now we have completed a 3-month study, and then separately a 6-month study, and now we have an ongoing 12-month study. These are not related study; they are independent study. The 3-month study is published, Ryan. The 6-month study will be published momentarily. So I just gave you the shorthand. We rechecked everything we have done on earlier study. The triglyceride and cholesterol drop, a good thing. We look at the C-reactive protein, it also dropped in the 3 months and the 6 months, a very good thing. And then because we are studying fatty liver disease, we study the third thing. People with fatty liver have elevated enzymes. Everybody knows it. They go to see the doctor is concerned how to bring down the liver enzyme. The liver enzyme is a stress call by the liver to say that my liver is stressed and the enzymes are elevated. So the doctor is trying to do whatever they could to help the patient to reduce the liver enzyme. And it's difficult to do other than severe reduction of fat intake and get off the laurel and start doing some exercise. Those are the 2 recommendations doctor asked. They're good things to do anyway, like that. Mm-hmm. So we noticed that in the liver enzyme, it also dropped. Typically, these kinds of things drop about 15 to 25%. Very, very encouraging. And the fourth thing, I did not expect that, and it is a welcome and a surprise. I have never said that tocotrienol help people to lose weight. So it's no fast weight loss program. But we did notice that in 3 months and in the 6-month study, that patient lost weight at 10 pounds on 3 months and about 17 to 18 pounds in 6 months. So I was pleasantly surprised by this fatty liver disease subjects that would lose weight, which is a good sign. Gain weight is not a good thing, not at this stage of their progression. Mm-hmm. So that's on the fatty liver side, on the whole cardiovascular thing. And then while we're on this, the last thing we did was we studied also another chronic condition with postmenopausal women. At menopause, the estrogen drop, and then they have thinning the bone. Most women who are in menopause know about this. So we studied the early stages of menopause, and we gave them the annatto tocotrienol. What we noticed was the bones start to strengthen. The osteoblasts, which are growing of the bone, increase, and the osteoclasts, the breakdown of the bone, start to decrease. So on average, the bone loss is retarded, so that so that they would not lose the calcium in the bone and the strength of the mineralization of the bone. So all put together, that's a very good sign. So those are the major clinical trials that we have done that is not cancer.
Awesome. So yeah, bone health's a massive one. A lot of people these days with osteoporosis and non-alcohol fatty liver disease is something that's becoming more and more prevalent today. I think a lot of people having a lot of rancid oils and poor fats as well. It's contributing to it. So yeah, that's great. And so you mentioned there about cholesterol as well, and how it can help reduce inflammation and it helps the arteries. So I mean, anything else like for people like besides what we've talked about in terms of how it can help anti-aging? You mentioned a few other health conditions. Anything else? And with so a couple of questions. One, is there anything else it can help with? And two, for people taking what you recommended, annatto E, for example, how much should someone take if they're healthy, and how much should someone take if they have like a chronic condition, for example?
Okay, good question. Not ready for prime time. We are doing animal studies now. We're continuously doing research, and we see very promising result in animal study, also in the chronic condition area. One is in dementia. As we all know, Alzheimer's disease is a dreaded word as we get older, another chronic condition. And we saw signs that in animal study, they're able to help them to retain memory and able to help their animal to learn more things, even at old age. So in the dementia area, it's looking good. So we're working on that. And then the other area is on COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So COPD, this typically refer to people that have asthma, that have allergy. Now on this, let me segue to this a little bit. When we studied this, we did not have the coronavirus in mind. It's just that the coronavirus is hitting the fan on every part of the world on this. So in the coronavirus, this virus like to reside in the lung, basically flooding the lung with water, and people are drowning to death. That's the coronavirus, in my shorthand understanding. When we study COPD, we did not have that in mind. We study COPD for its own meaning, the bad particulate in the air, compounding with the smog, all these things. So people over time chronically inhale this particulate, has COPD, and then they may have asthma, environmental, blah, blah, things like this. So or smoke inhalation, secondhand or primary smoke like that. So when we study this, we have given the animal tocotrienol, and it mitigates the severity of the asthma-related condition of COPD. That's it. So now with the advent of this horrible condition of coronavirus virus all over the world, we are now pushing the boundary to see if tocotrienol may directly have any antiviral potential, which is a different statement than helping the lung. So we know that it helped the lung per se on the COPD, which is a good defensive mechanism, but we're also looking for the viral. Right now, to the best of my knowledge, tocotrienol is able to help people with hepatitis C virus. It's not at the lung, it's in the liver.
Yep.
And we found that it will reduce the viral load of the liver. So, but of course, this coronavirus is so new. People don't know much about it. So we hope to find out more. So right now, the best I can say on the conditions would be dementia and COPD, maybe opportunistically advantageous because of the coronavirus. Your other question is on how much of this annatto tocotrienol, like annatto E from Designs for Health, to take. For a healthy person, I recommend 100 to 250 milligram as an antioxidant protection. For a person with mild chronic condition, probably 300 to 400 milligram. I described some of the chronic conditions in the studies that we did, is about that range. And for advanced chronic condition, such as some of the cancer study we talked about, then they would need higher amount, like 450 to 600 milligram. So for antioxidant, again, 100 to 250, 300 to 400 for mild chronic condition, and for advanced condition, 450 to 600 milligram, right?
Okay, so that's cool. So, when you say chronic conditions, so for example, someone with osteoporosis, that would be 300 to 400 mg.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Perfect. And so you've recently, you've got your book out on this, The Truth About Vitamin E, The Secret to Thriving with Annatto tocotrienols. And so people can get that at www.barrietan.com. Is that right?
Yeah, you can get a copy of this is a labor of love. People have been push me to write a book that is easily accessible. And then I describe much of the things I say here and even more. Yes, my first name is spelled Barrie, Barrie,
yep.
Tan.com. And then the book is, you can download the book, The Truth About Vitamin E. And hopefully one of these days when dust settle, if I go to give a speech in England, I'll bring my hard copy with me. It's a yellow covered copy, but you can download it readily. And maybe because you're listening on this radio, perhaps you can type the code Revive Yourself, which is your show, so they know that it tracks from your show. So Revive Yourself, the code, and the website is barrietan.com. Yes, correct.
Perfect. And so what's next for yourself? What have you got going on? I heard you're working on something new, a new supplement.
Oh, yeah. We are working with a new supplement. It's a mouthful of a word, but I'll read that to you first and then I'll acronize it. It's an endogenous nutrient, meaning a nutrient your body makes, and it's called GG, and it acronized for geranyl, Geranol, GERANYL, the adjective, and then another GERANIOL. It's an alcohol, Geranol. You can Google on this. And then, or GG. And GG is a compound your body makes, and it's a building block nutrient. So if you say your body makes a compound, it must make the compound for a reason. Otherwise, your body won't make them. So this is as good as it would be a vitamin, even better than a vitamin. A vitamin is something your body needs but cannot make. This is something your body makes, and it's an endogenous. If it's not your body make, then you say exogenous, EXO. But this is endo, ENDO, make from within. So it's a building block for making testosterone, coenzyme Q10, and vitamin K2, particularly menoquinone 4. So another time you could have an interview of me on this. Particularly, this is useful for people who take statin drugs, and it help. It causes people to have myopathy, muscle problem, because GG is actually helping to build muscle in our body. So when you take statin drug, the powerful statin drug lower cholesterol but cause people to have myopathy. So we are aggressively studying this GG now. And we also found that this GG have clear antiviral property, at least in animal and cell line study, which is important in what we are facing in the world today. Again, this GG is also available at Designs for Health. And if you put GG, I've forgotten I think it's called annatto GG.
Yeah,
So
annatto plant, yeah, GG.
Yeah, so annatto GG. So, and I personally take 150 milligram of this for the maintenance of my health. So that's what we are now working on, Ryan. So I hope that if your audience have any question, if they send us an email to Kim or to you and send to us, we'll be happy to reply to that. So thank you so much.
No worries. I mean, that's great. So people out there, obviously got vitamin E. We've got the book, The Truth About Vitamin E: The Secret to Thriving with Annatto tocotrienols, and that's at www.barrietan.com, and obviously working on the new GG, which is the annatto plant. So just for people out there, you did mention that a couple of things that they could maybe do for the virus. Is there anything you could recommend?
Well, on the virus, yes. Not directly. We need to protect ourselves. So to increase our immune system, I recommend people to take vitamin C, 500 milligram twice a day. This is just for public benefit. We don't make any of this, and I personally take it. I take 2 vitamin C. I take it with a meal, lunch or dinner, breakfast or lunch, doesn't matter, like that. And the other one would be zinc. And you don't have to take zinc every day, at least 2 or 3 times a week. And I take approximately 50 milligram of zinc a day. And, when the immune system challenge is over, then I take much lower amount of zinc. But for now, zinc, about 50 milligram, 2-3 times a week. And vitamin C, 500 milligram twice a day to help to support my immune system. Designed for Health Cells, primal multivitamin. I like it very much. I have not taken multivitamin for a long time because they contain tocopherol as a vitamin E. But Designed for Health Cell multivitamin that only contain tocotrienol for their vitamin E portion. So I like that very much. It's simply called Primal Multi. So if you go online, you can also see. So I take the multivitamin from them called Primal Multi. So that would be what I would use. And I keep my eyes open on what other things that help to boost the immune system. So I'm still on a read mode. Hopefully, I'll write something about this in the next month or 2 when I get more understanding on it. Remember, this thing is hitting us really fast and in supersonic speed in all directions. So I'm doing as fast as I could so that we can all protect our health, keep ourselves healthy. And of course, everything else we all know, to wash our hands and continue to keep good exercise and practicing social distancing. And none of this we don't know. So we're still doing those things. So perfect. I hope that's useful, Ryan.
Yeah, perfect. Is Designs for Health, are you involved with them? Is that your website?
No, Design for Health is the parent company. They sell products to the public. The company I'm with is called American River Nutrition.
Okay.
Like that. If you type American River Nutrition, it's in Hadley, Massachusetts. Or you type my name, it'll probably lead you there. We are primary ingredient. We extract tocotrienol and we extract GG from the annatto plant. And we do it right here in Massachusetts. So we have bulk ingredient. So our customers are not different individual companies. And so we commit ourselves to do the research why the compound is good so that our customer, which our company, will do this. And then they will package this and then sell it to consumer. And Design for Health is one of those companies. Once you go on my website, you see other names of companies like Allergy Research Group, AC Grace. There are many other companies, but Design for Health is easily accessible, so I just mentioned them. Currently, they are the only company that have GG, the Geranol. But otherwise, tocotrienol, probably 3 or 4 dozen companies have them. You can go online, so long as you type annatto tocotrienol. But if you want it to be laser sharp, that is referring to us, we trade name our tocotrienol from annatto as Delta Gold because of delta tocotrienol. We just say Delta Gold. So if you see the word Delta Gold or annatto tocotrienol, it would have come from our facility, from its production.
Awesome. All right, brilliant. Well, anything else you'd like to add?
I think for me, other than thank you, until the next, keep healthy and alert. You're doing a wonderful service, Ryan, to your listener like that. So blessing and keep in good health.
Thank you very much, my man.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. Bye.
So guys, there it was, the episode episode number 150, I should say, with Dr. Barrie Tan, all about vitamin E. And if you head on over to www.barrietan.com, then you can find out all about his book. In fact, www.barrietan.com. Enter the code REVIVE. You can find out, or you can buy his book and you can find out a bit more about vitamin E and go into it. But yeah, very, very important episode. Just find out about the tocotrienols, annatto as well, about how it can help with cancer, bone health, and reduce symptoms of non-alcohol fatty liver disease and lots more. So absolutely fantastic. I hope you got a lot out of that. As for everything else that's going on, I've been putting out a lot of content, I said before, on Facebook at my personal page, Ryan Martin, or at Revive Yourself. Same on Instagram, where I've got Revive Yourself and Ryan Martin on there too. Ryan __ Martin __ or Instagram for Revive is Revive _ yourself. And yeah, just in case anything happens with social media during these times, if it goes down or whatever, please head on over to www.reviveyourself.co. That's www.reviveyourself.co, because I've got lots of information there. And as I said before, I'm going to be having not only our normal 16-week total gut revival programs and our total health reset programs. I've got the 21-day immune system overhaul, as well as just put together actually our 16-week total immune system regeneration program. So for those of you that want to just give your system a boost, the 21 days is great. But anyone who's been immunocompromised, dealing with autoimmune issue or a chronic illness, then the 16-week program is just for you. And I've got both one-to-one and options to work in a group. So yeah, that's all coming. As I mentioned before, you're heading over to our shop. That's at shop.reviveyourself.co, or if you head on to www.reviveyourself.co, you can find it there. Lots of fantastic supplements, products. We've got our whole house water filtration systems. All this is very important during this time to reduce the toxic load in your body and to keep your system nice and healthy. Otherwise, guys and girls, as I've said before, if you are looking for help with a chronic issue, then please don't hesitate to give me a shout at Ryan@reviveyourself.co. That's Ryan@reviveyourself.co, because I know how frustrating and painful it can be to live with a chronic illness. It's no fun, and we can help you put that behind you. Especially if you've been trying everything and you've been to doctors, consultants, specialists, nothing works. I know, I've been there myself. So yeah, please do give me an email at Ryan@reviveyourself.co, and we'll get into that. And please keep yourself healthy and happy. Got lots of different content coming out during this time. Please remember to stay as relaxed as possible. to keep your body nice and stress-free, because when the body's stressed, it's in a state of dis-ease that can lead to lowering the immune system and for pathogens and microbes, etc. to come in and take over, and that's no fun at all. So, guys and girls, that's it for this week. Go out there and do everything I mentioned before to keep yourself strong, happy, healthy, and vital. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. And as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
If you're struggling with gut issues, such as gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, indigestion, heartburn, and want to finally be able to eat the foods you love without the crippling after effects, then don't forget to head over to reviveyourself.co and pick up your free copy of The Healing Health Paradigm today.